Hello students, this is your teacher Manish, and today in this video, as a part of Java playlist, we are going to study a very important concept, and that is inheritance. Okay, so because the strength of Java is object oriented programming, and inheritance is one of the basic concept in object oriented. So let us first understand what inheritance is, and this word typically we have used number of times, like a child inherits qualities from their parents, or somebody inherits property from their parents. Okay, so the same concept actually is here as well. So you have a parent. Okay, now we will say here this is a parent class. Okay, and you have a child class, right? And child class actually inherits the properties of parent class. Now what does these properties really are? These properties are nothing but instance variables, right, and instance methods. Okay, so what does this means? It means that if any class is defined as a child class, if any class inherits the properties of parent class, then all the instance variables and instance methods which are declared in parent class become available to child class. So if you create an object of type child class, then you can actually invoke the methods of the parent class. Okay, so this what really it means. At the end of this video, what are we going to learn is, one, of course, what is inheritance and how it can be achieved in code. Please note, it is achieved using a keyword extends. So when you declare a child class, you actually have a extends keyword. Okay, so child class, for example, right, extends, okay, parent class. This is nothing but child class name extends parent class name. Okay, so any class name which is to the left side of extends keyword is a child class, and any class name which is to the right side of extends keyword is a parent class. Okay, and second thing which we are going to learn is what is method overriding, right? So another very important concept, and which is very much related to inheritance. Okay, and hence we are going to learn what is method overriding. And third thing is method overloading. Okay, so these are the three things which we are going to learn in this video. Use of extends keyword, how to build inheritance, and then what is method overloading and what is method overriding. As usual, now we will get into the actual development of code, which typically I do using Notepad++, and we will develop the code from the scratch. In this case, in today's example, I am going to use a parent class called animal and a child class called cat. Okay, so these are the two classes which I am going to use, and we'll have them will build the inheritance. Okay, so let us not waste any time and get a deep dive into actual coding. So now I'm going to develop a source file animal.java, which will have basically three classes. Okay, so one is the animal class, which I'm going to write. It will be a parent class. The another would be a cat class, and third will be a startup class, which will have main method in it. Okay, so when we compile this Java source file, obviously we will get 3-byte codes. Okay, so let us not waste any time and quickly start coding our animal.java class. Okay, so I have class animal. Okay, So the curly bracket start of the class, and within animal dot class I'm just putting one instance method, and name of that method is make sound. Okay, I'm going to have a simple system.out.println in this method, right? System.out.println. okay, and here I am just putting sound of an animal. Okay, that's it. End, and now end of the animal class. Okay, now I am going to define, okay, the class, which is class cat. Now look at this word, extends animal. Okay, with this, really what I am telling the compiler is my cat class, which I am going to define, okay, would have basically or would be a child class, and it is going to extend, or it is going to inherit all the properties of the parent class. Now at present I am going to keep this class empty. We will further code into it, but at present I want to keep it empty. And the third class which I am going to code is class startup. Okay, which is nothing but I am going to have my public static void main, and we all know is nothing but my invoking method, okay, which typically I need to have in one of the classes to basically execute my program. Okay, now within this class I am going to create a object, okay, c1, which is nothing but it's of type, okay, cat, right? And I'm going to have a default constructor, okay, which would get executed, and using my, okay, c1 object, right, I'm going to invoke make sound. Okay, now you can just notice one thing, and that is, right, my make sound method, right, is not there in cat class. My cat class in fact is empty, right, and my make sound method is there in my parent class. Now what is going to happen is basically my make sound class from method from parent class is going to get invoked with an object which is of type child. Okay, so let us quickly execute the program, right? So I'm just okay, I have already saved it, and I'm executing, I'm compiling my animal.java. okay, now animal.java, I'm compiling it. Okay, let's see what happens. Hopefully we don't have any compilation errors. And now I cannot use, right, I cannot use animal class or cat class for execution because they don't have main method, okay, in it. My main method is in startup, so I'm just invoking or executing startup class. Okay, and look what happened. Now this particular system.out.println actually got printed from an instance method, okay, which is there in parent and not in child. Okay, so this is how the inheritance is built. Now let me quickly go and do some changes basically in my child class, and what I want to do is I want to actually create another instance method of same name, right? I'm giving the same name as make sound, and within this method I am going to have a system.out.println, and I'm adding this method in the child class. Okay, and I'm just putting the sound, okay, of a cat. Okay, so if cat says makes meow meow as a sound, then I am putting that as a system.out.println. Okay, and then let's see what happens. So what are the changes I did in this program? I just added one more method, instance method, with the same name as that of the instance method which is there in the parent. And now when I invoke the instance method with the object of type, okay, with the object of type child, let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to recompile my program, and I'm just going to execute it, and look what happened. Now my instance method from the child really took the precedence over the method, instance method of a parent. Okay, so if there are two methods having same name, one in the child class and another in the parent class. Okay, so if I'm just putting it here in the notepad, if there are two methods with same name, right? Okay, one in the child class and another in the parent class, then we have achieved method overriding. And why we have achieved method overriding? Because child class method gets invoked or it gets precedence. Okay, so this is what basically method overriding is, right? Now if I need to execute the method of parent class, then there is a word, keyword, okay, and that keyword is, right, that keyword is basically super dot, right, and I can just say make sound, right? Now what happens in this case is, in this case, when make sound gets invoked with object C1, this particular make sound from child class will get executed, and the first statement which it noticed has got a keyword super, and the moment it notices that, it invokes the make sound of the parent. So if I need to execute a method of parent, I need to use a word called, a keyword called super, to call that instance method. Okay, now let us quickly compile this code and see what happens, and this is how, okay, you will understand the relevance of keyword super, right? So I'm just executing the startup again, and needless to say why we use startup, because yeah, our main resides in startup class. Okay, so that is a class which is executable. Look, now what has happened is, the sound of animal, which is a system.out.println, okay, in make sound method of parent class, got printed first because I have got super.makeSound, okay, executed before the system.out.println, which is there in child class. Okay, so we have also seen the relevance of super keyword. Now what I can do is, what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to actually add another method, right? I'm going to basically add another method in my cat class. Okay, and let us see. So I'm going to have another method, void make sound, okay, with same name, but now I'm just putting here string, okay, and p sound as the variable, okay, and I'm giving the begin and system right dot out dot println, okay, and in that I'm going to print the p sound, right? So let us see what happens. Now I will create another object, right, with cat c2 equals to new cat, okay, and then I'm going to invoke c2 dot make sound, okay, and I'm going to pass a different noise, a different sound, okay, through this method. Now let's see what happens, okay, and we'll execute this, right, and we'll find out what happens, and then we'll get into details as to why really this happened. Few points to note though before we start execution. Here we have in same class two methods with same name. Look, now we have make sound method declared twice in the cat class. The only difference is one method actually has got one parameter, whereas the another method which is declared has got no parameters, okay. So we can have same name to more than one methods, but they are differentiated by the number of parameters which are there in the brackets, and that is called as a signature of the method, okay. So let us quickly see, compile it and see what happens. I hope I have saved it. Let me check if I have saved it. No, I had not saved it, so I am saving it again, okay, and I am compiling it, right. So on compilation, let me see what happens. Now if you see, okay, I have three statements that got printed, right, because I created a different object and I called a method with a parameter, and this method for the second object, this particular method got executed, okay, the method with the parameter. Now this concept is actually what we are seeing is called as a method overloading. And what is method overloading? Method overloading is nothing but we can have more than one method with same name. They are differentiated, okay, differentiated by signature of the method. And what is the signature? Signature is nothing but number or sequence of parameters passed, okay, in the method, right. So this is nothing but method overloading, okay. So we with this example basically have seen what inheritance is, okay. So in inheritance we can have a child class inheriting the properties of parent class. We build inheritance using a keyword extends. So any class name which is to the left of extends keyword is child class, and any class name which is to the right of extends keyword is the parent class. As a part of inheritance, when we say child class inherits properties, the properties are nothing but, okay, when we say properties are nothing but instance variables and instance methods. Okay, instance methods are inherited, okay, by child class from parent class. Okay, so this is what I want you to be aware of. In my next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build multiple inheritance. Okay, so here we have seen a single level inheritance. In my next video, we'll write a program with an example of multiple inheritance. So if you like this video, please do like and share the video. You have been good enough to give me a lot of feedback, so I am trying to improve. I am trying to implement all the feedbacks here. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, do subscribe it. And what I'm in this journey, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make things as simple as I can, and I'm going to use very basic fundamental examples to make you understand the basic concepts, and which are very, very important. Okay, so till then, bye, thank you.